The views expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those in the community as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Climate change.
We're seeing climate change unfolding. We're seeing actually predictions that have been made some decades ago turning into reality.
We think that this is the most extreme version, and it's not based on facts. It's not data driven. We'd like to see something that is more data driven. It's based on modeling, which is extremely hard to do when you're talking about the climate. Again, our focus is on making sure we have the safest, cleanest air and water, and the president's going to do exactly that.
Lack of moral leadership is worse than cowardice. It is a death sentence.
Reefs around the world face threats from warming water temperatures, from water quality issues, from direct impacts, from overfishing. So all around the world we face a lot of the same problems.
Mr. President, have you read the climate report yet? I've seen it, I've read some of it, and it's fine.
Arguably one of the hottest issues facing the world. But what exactly is it? And how does it affect us as Michiganders and, more specifically, Northeast Michiganders? How do people talk about it? And how do we bridge the gap between political beliefs and ideologies to gain a common understanding? Where's the evidence? That's what we'll be exploring today in Insights into Northeast Michigan. In 1990, George H.W. Bush signed into law the Global Change Research Act, which requires research that takes an extensive look at human-induced and natural process of global change. Basically, every 4 years, a number of government councils and agencies prepare a report for Congress and the President to look over and respond to the potential future and current environmental issues facing the nation. The fourth National Climate Assessment came out the day after Thanksgiving this year, and findings didn't paint a happy picture for the future of America as well as the world. It said that Earth's climate is changing faster than any point in history of the modern civilization due to human activity. But current leaders aren't seeing eye to eye on this issue and the political gridlock facing the country.
I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it. And here's the other thing. You're going to have China and Japan and all of Asia and all of these other countries, addresses our country. Right now we're at the cleanest we've ever been, and that's very important to me. But if we're clean, but every other place on earth is dirty, that's not so good. So I want clean air, I want clean water, very important.
This report is going to live day after day, month after month, year after year. This is not a one-day story. This is conclusive evidence by the President's own administration of how bad climate change will be for incomes, for families, for workers, for farmers, for cities. Can't run away from it anymore. It's about time they faced the reality and worked with us to do something before it's too late.
So what is climate change? We called up Kate Madigan, the chair of Michigan Climate Action Network, and researcher Brent Lofgren from NOAA's Great Lakes Environmental Research Laboratory to find out what exactly it is.
Observation and research by scientists have confirmed what scientists have understood for more than a century, is that the burning of fossil fuels is releasing carbon dioxide and other emissions that are trapping the sun's heat in the atmosphere. So the global temperatures have been slowly warming, and so now we are seeing the impacts of this warming planet, and so we're seeing a number of impacts right here in Michigan, and then some of the more significant impacts we're seeing in other parts of the country and around the world.
I took a challenge over a year ago to write a haiku about the science that I do, and the haiku is greenhouse molecules. They vibrate with energy, shoot it back to Earth, and that is really what forms the basis of it. The greenhouse effect has both natural and human-caused parts of it. So there's a certain amount of carbon dioxide that was in the atmosphere at pre-industrial times. We think that's about 280 parts per million, judging by little bubbles in ice cores. And that has now risen to about 410 parts per million. So it's about 150% as much as it was before the Industrial Revolution.
Now that we have a better understanding of what climate change is, we have to look at how it's affecting the state of Michigan and the Great Lakes.
Extreme rainfall events have increased over the last century in Michigan, and these trends are going to continue. The heaviest rainfall, so like the top 1% of storms, very heavy rain events, now drop 30% more precipitation in the Midwest than they did 50 years ago. And so this means when we have a rainfall event, it dumps a lot more water, and a lot of our infrastructure, our stormwater, sewage, and our roads and our gutters can't handle that. So it's leading to more flooding, more erosion, and more runoff into our waterways. And that's also leading to declining water quality and impacts on the Great Lakes. And so some examples of this that we're seeing, there was flooding in Detroit in the summer of 2014 that caused highways to close and flooded thousands of basements. And then there was flooding again in Detroit in September of 2016. There was historic flooding in Grand Rapids in 2013, and there was historic flooding just this summer in the Upper Peninsula in Houghton and Menominee that the governor called state of emergency.
Even though there is somewhat of a theoretical link between very heavy rainfalls and climate change, the most extreme events are difficult to really measure statistically like that.
Coming up on Insights into Northeast Michigan, we chat with Brent on some of his research and the amount of risk climate change can have on the Great Lakes. Plus, we chat with Stephanie Gandulla about climate change's potential effect on shipwrecks. Stay tuned.